Boruto, 2 Blue Vortex. From the jump to the current chapter, Boruto has been a straight menace, and he's been pulling up for the most part in his base form. No karma needed. Also, it's more like he refuses to use it, even when he probably should, like against the Shinju group, which is basically the Akatsuki but tree people. He shit on Code, limitless Code at that, in his base form. Mind you, that version of Code is stronger than Jigen. So, the question I have is, Boruto currently the strongest ninja to exist? Hell fucking yes. However, is he Baryon mode level? Take a seat, my friend. Let me fix you real quick. Now, before we get into this, I am no power scaler, however, I'm just using clues and basic deduction skills to come to my conclusion, so at least let me make my point before you start grabbing kunai and shuriken to end me, and if I end up being wrong, I promise I will make a I was wrong video. But, Baryon, Naruto, and Ishiki are still the current highest levels of power in the verse at the moment. Jigen was strong enough to dog walk Naruto and Sasuke, and then Ishiki didn't just walk them, he fully domesticated them and told them to go fetch when he got done with them. Until Baryon mode came into play at least. Baryon mode put Naruto on a tier of power that we know will be surpassed in 2 Blue Vortex eventually. It is a shonen series after all, and we know somehow, someway when Shibai Otsutsuki comes into play, the power scaling will be more insane. Not to mention, whatever hacks Boruto will have whenever his Jogan starts becoming a thing in the manga will add to the scale of power in the series. But a popular point that keeps being brought up as of late is simple A is stronger than B and B is stronger than C logic when talking about the leaked chapter page of how Boruto dodges Kawaki's rods in his base without even using karma. Boruto base stronger than Baryon mode confirmed? False, inaccurate, untrue, illegitimate, delusional, incorrect, impossible, improbable. Okay, you get it. But that's not how this works, at least if I'm following the story right. Naruto and Sasuke were the demigods of the verse for a while, but then Jigen became a thing. Jigen was stronger than both of them, but they could somewhat contend with them, and that's giving them more credit through the anime version. Manga wasn't as generous to them. Ishiki completely dominated them until Baryon mode became a thing. Code was a potential issue to Jigen because he could scale to Jigen, and thus limiters were placed on Code, so the hierarchy wouldn't be disrupted in Kara at least. Code with limiters, weaker than Jigen, sure, but Code without limiters is stronger than Jigen. You follow me? Good. Code without limiters is stronger than Jigen, but weaker than Ishiki. Boruto, after the time skip in base, destroys limitless Code, putting him over Jigen, but that doesn't mean he's Ishiki level. Kawaki, due to how he's currently built, probably wouldn't do shit to Code, and we know he's obviously weaker than Boruto. However, this is where some misconception starts happening. Because Kawaki has Ishiki's abilities, people think he's Ishiki level, or at least the abilities being used are at the same level. But that's not exactly how this works. Kawaki has his abilities, but that doesn't mean he's at the same level of Ishiki. Ishiki's rod isn't Kawaki's rod. That's a definite pause moment, but hopefully you catch my drift. They are not at the same level, so Boruto dodging the rods, while yes, is impressive on his side, the focus in the scene is really on how weak Kawaki is in comparison to Boruto. I would say that as of right now, most of the threats plus Boruto are obviously above Jigen, and are floating around that approaching Ishiki tier, and if anyone is currently above that, it would be Jura, maybe. Now I know Boruto hasn't even used his karma yet, but remember he was actually showing some effort and a little bit of struggle against the Shinju, and no doubt all Shinju aren't built the same, like how the Akatsuki had tiers, it's the same here. Anyway, hopefully I somewhat cleared some misconceptions about this whole scaling situation off of one panel. I'm not saying I'm 100% right, I could be wrong just because the Boruto series showcases power differently than the Naruto series, so most statements of power are said but not shown, like how when Madara or Pain showcased power in the verse, it was very obvious that they were built different. However, in the Boruto series, and also because of how Kishimoto was kind of doing the series going forward, he kind of drew the scale back, but the same level of power is there. So it's harder for people to scale Boruto characters because we're being told they scale higher, but we don't necessarily see the same level of feats. And that's why people struggle with saying, oh, there's no way like Borushiki can beat like the Akatsuki. It's actually sad because Borushiki probably stomps on everyone in the Akatsuki, including Pain. That's just where the scaling is in Boruto. Like it's again, it's a shonen, so the scales are always going to go higher. The next generation is always going to be stronger than the last. That's just how it goes. Got to keep it interesting. You might not agree that increasing the scale of power keeps it interesting, but that's what they decided to go with. But anyway, guys, that was just my thoughts for this video, or really this whole topic of Boruto stronger than Baryon mode. Definitely disagree with that. I appreciate you guys watching the video. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you think otherwise, think I'm wrong, think I'm right, let me know. But anyway, I appreciate you guys watching the video. Back to the shadows I go.